Good morning, students. In this lecture, we will discuss the digital modulation techniques. So, before starting the digital modulation techniques, in our previous lecture, we have seen about the digital communication systems and how we can convert our analog signal into the digital signals. So, first of all, why we require the digital modulation techniques, as we have to see in our previous lectures that what is the basically why we need the modulation and why we are using the modulation in analog communication. So from there, first thing is clear that for transmitting your signals to a longer distances, we have to require the modulation system, and at that time we are working on the analog signals. So in that classes we have discussed about the amplitude modulation, frequency modulation and phase modulation. So first of all, again we will slightly revise the modulation, why we are required the modulation. So first thing is, if you want to travel your signals longer distances, okay, so you have to require the modulation, because low frequency signals cannot travel to the longer distances, and for transmitting your signals longer distances you will superimpose your modulating signals onto the high carrier frequency signals, and these high carrier frequency signals will transmit it to the longer distances. So there is a technique how you can superimpose your modulating signals or basis signal on the carrier signals. So in our analog modulation techniques, we have also seen that when property of your carrier. So what about the properties? So if we are talking about the properties, so there are amplitude, frequency, and phase of our carrier signal will change according to the instantaneous value of our modulating signals. Means you don't put your signals on a carrier signal, you have to change the property of your carrier signals according to the instantaneous value of our modulating signal. So at particular instant, what is the value of our modulating signals, according to that our property of our carrier signals change. So if we are changing the amplitude of our carrier signal, so that is called as a amplitude modulations. If we are changing the frequency of our carrier signals according to modulating signals, so we can call it as a frequency modulation. And if we are changing the phase, so we call it as a phase modulation. So same thing is happens here if we are working on the digital modulation techniques. So here again, amplitude, frequency, phase, these three properties are changed according to the instantaneous value of our modulating signal. So only the difference between these is that at that time we have a analog signals, but present if we are working on the digital modulation techniques, here we have a digital signals as a modulating signals. So we have to work out on the digital signals, and these digital signals have to transmit it to a longer distances. So what we have to done in the digital modulation techniques, so we can see that first of all, if we have any type of signals that is source generated, so that is we have to done the source encoding. First of all, the source coding is done for removing the redundant bits, and what we have to done after removing the redundant or extra bits, we have to optimize our signals, because when we transmit our signals, so there is a consumption of bandwidth. So if we are sending so many bits in our message signals, so we have to require a large number of bandwidth. So for optimization of our bandwidth, we transmit our signals for after optimizing, and due to this our bandwidth requirement will also reduce it. So we have to also see this after their channel encoding and then modulator part, and then our signal will be transmitted through the antenna. So again here we will revise that in which type of carrier signals we are using for digital modulation techniques. So first of all, our message signals will be in digital form, and our carrier signals will be in analog form. So main thing is here to remember that our carrier signals will be high frequency analog signals, not to the digital signals. So means we superimpose our digital signal onto the analog high frequency carrier signals for performing our digital modulation technique. So there is again a channel, and this block diagram we have to also see in our previous lecture. So, in digital modulation, an analog carrier signal is modulated by a discrete signal. That is the reason what we have to told you, Abhi. And what about the digital modulation can be considered? So here, digital to analog and corresponding demodulation, again analog to digital conversion. So this is a main theme. What type of process we have to follow for digital modulation. So in digital modulation system, first we have to transmit our digital signals, and these digital signals are converted into the analog form because our carrier signals will be high frequency analog signals, and at the receiver section we have to again demodulate these signals, and again our analog signal is converted to the digital signal. So that is the conversion in our digital modulation technique. In digital communication system, the modulating wave consists of a binary data or carrier is a sinusoidal wave. So we have to take these two datas to the proper sequencing. So again, we have to classify our digital modulation technique. So as we have to see that ASK, if you are talking about the ASK, the full form of ASK is amplitude shift keying. Another one is the phase shift keying, and after then the FSK, frequency shift keying. So that is the reason how we can classified these digital modulation techniques. So if amplitude of our analog carrier signal will change according to the digital modulating signal, so at that type of modulation we will call it as a amplitude shift keying. And if phase of our carrier signal will change according to the digital signals, so that is called as a PSK. And if frequency of our signals will be changed according to the digital signal, so we called it as a phase shift key. If you are talking about the phase shift keying, so that is again differentiated into the three parts. First one is the BPSK, so that is called as a binary phase shift keying. Second one is the quadrature phase shift keying. So we will also move to the if there are only two symbols 0 and 1, so according to that we will call it as a binary phase shift keying. If there is a four symbols and we are working on the combination of two bits combination symbols representation, so that is called as a quadrature phase shift keying. So as we are increasing our number of symbols, according to that our PSK system will be enhanced. So this is the basic classifications of our digital modulation technique. Now we will focus on the this part. Very basic diagram of our ASK, FSK, and PSK. What we have to discuss in our previous slides. So if we are talking about the ASK amplitude shift keying, and we have to said that the amplitude of our carrier signal will change according to the instantaneous value of our digital signals. So in this diagram, this is the digital signals, and these signals we have to transmit. Okay, so now what will happen here? There is a carrier signals of very high frequency, constant amplitude. Basically, we have not changed much. Now what will have the third row we have to see that if there is a one or there is a one bit, so in that duration your carrier signals will be transmitted as it is, as we have to provide the carrier signals. But if there is a zero bit, the amplitude of our signals will be very less, or we can approximate it as a 0 volt. So that is basically 1010. If you are opting the format of 1010, so there may be the ASK signal will transmit as a, either it will transmitted complete carrier signals, or it will be not transmitted to the carrier signals, transmitted to the carrier signals, or very low frequency signals will be noises in terms of transmitted. So that is basically on and off keying. So it is just like a on off keying, and we will also call ASK modulation technique to the on off keying techniques. And in this type of technique, if we can see here that the amplitude variations between 1 and 0. If there is a 1, amplitude is high, but if there is a 0, amplitude is approximate equal to 0. So this is the ASK signals. And after that, if we are moving to the RSK signal, frequency shift keying signal, so what will happen? Message signal change the carrier frequency. So here we have to again opt the two types of frequency. one type of frequency that will carry over the signal of 1, and another type of frequency we can define in terms of this way, that is a less frequency, and that is the f2. So there is, if we are talking there, we can working on the two types of frequency, high frequency and one is the low frequency signals. So high frequency signals carry the signal of 1, and low frequency signals, if there is a low frequency indications, when there is a transmitting the 0 in that particular place. So that is the basically FSK, means in FSK we have to work out on the two frequency f1 and f2, and both are responsible for transmitting the either 1 or 0 signals. So again we are working on the PSK signal. So if we are talking about the PSK, phase shift keying, so now what will happens there? You have a digital signal 1010. So now if you are switching from 1 to 0, or you are switching from 0 to 1, so what will happen in the basic end layer of 1, when your 1 is ending and 0 is starting? So in that particular value there is a phase change of 180 degree. So you can see in this phase, if signal is closing here, and this phase again is started from here. So that is the, if you can see here, this is the same phase. So this is a 180-degree phase shifting of these two, and we can again see if we are switching to the 1 to 0 or 0 to 1, there is a phase change. You can also see this one. So means you can detect that your signals will be either 1 or 0. So if there is a change of 180 degree or phase difference of pi, so we can transmit by once symbol 1 by cos omega ct and symbol 2 by cos omega ct plus pi, means phase difference between 180 degree. So this is a very basic classifications of our digital modulation techniques, in which we have to classify ASK, FSK, and PSK. So what type of diagram we are seeing in the transmitting wave signals? So that is a basically. Now we will work out on the amplitude shift keying in ASK. So we will again see in details what is the basically how it will work out. So if you have to transmit, bit 1 is transmitted by a signal of one particular amplitude, and if we want to transmit the 0, so there is change in amplitude and frequency is always constant. So there is one thing you have to remember, if you are working on the ASK amplitude shift keying, so now what will happen, there is a 1 symbols and there is a 0 symbols. So you can see this is the carrier signals. Frequency of these carrier signals will be constant, and now if you want to transmit the 1, so there is a amplitude existing normal frequency carrier signals, and if, but when you want to transmit the 0 symbols, there is a 0 volt amplitude of these signals. So there is on off. So it is also called as a on off keying, means if there is a 0 symbol you have to transmit, so there is no carrier signals, and if you want to transmit 1, so there is a carrier signal. So that is so this is only based on the presence of carrier signals and absence of carrier signals. So in this way our signals will be transmitted in amplitude shift. Now we will see the if there is a presence of carrier and absence of carrier. So if you want to represent your binary digits, so a cos omega ct, so that is represented as a binary one, and if we are talking about the binary 0 signal, so that we will indicate as a 0. So this is the basically a cos omega ct, so that is binary 1, and this is a 0 volt, so that is indicated as a binary 0. Very susceptible to noise. If you are talking about the amplitude shift key, so it is very susceptible to noise. So we have also seen in our analog communication system that amplitude modulation is not good noise immunity with respect to the frequency modulation. So why it will happen, so we have to also know the effects of noise will happen to the change in amplitude. Okay, so basically if noise is added in any type of signals, so according to that signals, the property of noise is in generally additive form, so it will change the amplitude level. So if our signals are also transmitted through change in amplitude, so it is not easily possible to detect. These changes will be either due to signals or due to the noise. So this is the disadvantage of our amplitude shift key. Here also there is change in amplitude will be detected as a signals, and used to transmit digital data over optical fiber. So this is basically used in transmission in optical fiber communication. So again, we will see here amplitude shift keying. So that is basically part of how many shape we have to achieve in our frequency spectrum. So again, we will see in revise little bit in our amplitude modulation of in analog signals. We at that place we are achieving two spectrum. FC is the center frequency of your carrier signals, and FM is the frequency of our modulating signals. So there in the amplitude modulation system, we are receiving two sidebands, upper sideband and lower sideband. So that is FC plus FM and FC minus FM. So same thing is we can here in ASK amplitude shift keying. There is also a spectrum we have to achieving to the modulating apart from the modulating signal. So again we are here achieving the FC plus FM and FC plus FC minus F0. Either it will called as a fundamental frequency or you can call it as a modulating signals. So that is, and apart from that, there is also a very small magnitude spectrum we have to achieve, but that will be the negligible. So if you are talking about the frequency spectrum, so FC plus NB by 2 and FC minus NB by 2. So that is a basically terms of digital. So how you can define it? So basically, we have also seen this part. Now we will switch to the frequency shift key. So that is basically a spectrum. So that is a description of a spectrum. If we are talking about the frequency shift key, so what will happens in frequency shift key? We can change the frequency in response to the information. Means if you want to transmit your digital signal through the FSK system, so what will change here? The frequency of carrier signal will change according to the value of our message signals. So here this is the case. If you have a 1010, so now what will happen here? You have a transmitted one through a carrier signals, and if you there is again a signals that is based on the, so there is change in frequency. So that is basically depend on the signals ki what type of signals. So that diagram is not so basically this is the basic equations. If we are working on the a cos omega 1 t and a cos omega 2 t, so omega 1 and omega 2 means there is f1 and f2 frequencies are offset from carrier signals fc. So there is basically a conversion, and these offsets are from the opposite amounts. So if you are working on the bandwidth, so what about the bandwidth? F2 minus F1. So that is we can differentiate it. This is a spectrum. So if we are working on the spectrum, so there are two carrier frequencies we are using for transmission of our FSK signals. So here is the F1 and F2. And what type of frequency components we are achieving? So F1 plus FC and F1 plus F1 minus FC. So that is a F2 plus FC and F2 minus. So that is a basically just separation between these components are. So you can also call it as a F1 and F2 is the center frequency, and from there that is basically if the modulating signal frequency is FM, so that is basically F1 plus FM and F1 minus FM. So that is a both side, and we can get the spectrum of USB and LSB. So you can transmit our signals. If we are talking about the spectrum, so that spectrum may be considered as a combination of two ASK spectra, because there are two carrier frequencies F1 and F2. So according to that, the bandwidth requirement will be 2 times high with respect to the ASK system. So this is the FSK spectrum coming up from here to here. You can see here there are two frequencies F1 and F2. Now we will see here FSK modulation and demodulation technique. So same thing is also happen in ASK modulation and demodulation. And in ASK modulation and demodulation, we can work out on the coherent and non-coherent pattern. So before studying the ASK modulation and demodulation, first of all we will see about the FSK. So what will happen in FSK modulator? You have a digital signal, voltage controlled oscillator, amplifier, BPF and RF output. So there is basically a modulator part, means you have to given the NRZ, non-return to zero data input signals, and then this is controlled by the voltage control oscillator. So that is work as a generation of high carrier frequency, and after multiplexing of these signals with the data, we have to achieve some output, and these will be given to the amplifier. And for FSK demodulator, so that is a demodulation part, and these part is applied. So there is a band pass filter, and particular band of frequency will be selected, and after selecting this BPF there is an amplifier, and we can amplify these signals. And after then the frequency discriminator, that is basically a detector or demodulator part, and this will work out on the extraction. So by using this, what will happens here, we can remove the carrier signal from our message signals, and after passing through the LPF we can receive our signals, and then we can compare our data with a comparator, because there we have to decide either the value of it is strong or not, or we will compare it with a threshold value. If the value is higher than this, then we will consider it as a 1, and if value is less than that, so we can consider it as a 0. So that is basically a non-coherent. You have a two frequencies, so you have to require the envelope detector, two envelope detector. So here we will again discuss envelope detector. So basically envelope detector is RC combination circuits, and that is used for detection purpose. So you can see in this diagram, um, this is a received signals. It will again divided into two parts. What type of BPF we are using. So according to that, that particular signal will be passed and then will be blocked, and then you have to proceed on that particular data. Now we have to switch to the phase shift key. So now what about the phase shift key? So in PSK, the we can change the phase of our sinusoidal carrier signals to indicate the information. So phase in this context is the starting angle at which our signals starts. So one phase change encodes 0, and while another phase change encodes 1. To transmit 0, we split the phase of the sinusoidal by 180 degree. So here we will split it as a 180 degree, and this is the signals. And if there is 0 to 1 switching or 1 to 0 switching, there is a phase change. This diagram. Now this is a basic equation of our phase shifting, a cos omega ct and a cos omega ct plus pi. So basically, if you want to transmit your signal 1 or 0, so there is a 180-degree phase change between these two symbols. And in this way, we can transmit our two level PSK signals to the channel. So there is again a binary PSK transmitter and receiver. So what will happen here? BPSK modulator. So what about the modulator? There will be modulation. So that is basically balanced modulator. There is a carrier signal, that is a cos omega ct, and there is the analog signals, and both are modulated. And after then we can receive the after amplification we can pass it through the BPF. Same thing is here. Here we are using the coherent detection, and in coherent detection, what will happen here? You have to again multiply carrier signals with the modulated signals, and then you can extract your original carrier signals. And after then, we will compare it with the threshold value, and we will decide this data will be perfectly 1 or 0 or not. So now here we will compare the power spectral density for binary ASK, FSK and PSK. So you can see the power spectral density of ASK and PSK will be the same, only the change in the FSK. In FSK system, we are working on the two frequencies FC1 and FC2. So that is a spectrum of that particular FSK. Now, after seeing the binary PSK system, we will little bit switch to the QPSK system, and Q is called as a quadrature. So there are four symbols. So we can opt the four symbols either in the particular reference x and y axis, or you can take it the apart from that. So there is only a change in carrier frequency. So if we are opting the reference line x and y, so you are the 0, pi by 2, pi and 3 pi by 2. If we are working on the system of this one, so we will take the 45-degree angle starting angle from the carrier signals, and according to that we will revise our this one. Since you are working, so you have a four symbols, 00011011, so you have to make a combination of 2 bit, and these four symbols can be transmitted through this four circles, and 2 bits transmitted at a time. So this is a conventional QPSK, has transitions from zero. Okay. So highly linear devices, this is a highly linear amplifier. In offset PSK, the phase transmission are limited to 90 degree. So the transition on, so if we are talking about the transition on I and Q channels are staggered. So pi by 4 QPSK, the set of constellation. So that is basically pi by 4 means there is an angle between 2 points is also maintained. So the transmissions through zero cannot occur. So that is basically the schemes, that is the lowest envelope variation. So that you can see here, that is basically a circle, and here we can represent the 4 points in this way. So there is not a envelope variations, there is not amplitude change variation, and not frequency will be changes, as we have to see only there will be change in phase of our signal. So that is the final conclusion of our QPSK. So enhancement version of BPSK. In BPSK, there is a phase difference of 180 degrees, 0 and 180. So there is a two symbols for transmission. If you are talking about the QPSK, so there is a number of signals are high. So if we are talking about the Q quadrature, so that is a basically four symbols we are using, and we will denote our four symbols to the 000110 and 11. So that is basically how you can transmit your QPSK signals. So now we will switch to the modulator part. So just see in this diagram, and you can analyze how we are working on the modulator part. So that is basically serial to parallel. Okay. So you will convert your devices, and you can provide the numbers or symbols to this two category LPFA, second LPA, because both are interconnected to the carrier signals. So in both the carrier signals will be changed. That is a QPSK demodulator. So that is basically a demodulator part. And again, we will convert parallel to serial encoders, low pass filter by passing it through the low pass filter. And this is a synchronization demodulator. So we will again multiply the same phase carrier frequency in these modulators, and after then power processing from the LFF, we can uh, convert it into the parallel to serial decoder. Now we will little bit switch to the multi-level phase, okay, or amplitude modulation. So there are both things. If you are talking about the quadrature amplitude modulation, okay, so that is the quadrature amplitude modulation is that generally defined as a four level amplitude and phase change according to the multi-level. So if you are talking about the amplitude and phase shift key, so that is basically combined features. In QAM, both are combined. ASK and PSK signals are combined for proper working of that. So that is the transit several bits per second, so often referred to as a linear, as they requires linear amplifications and more bandwidth efficient, but more susceptible to the noise. So there is also a disadvantage. It is a more susceptible to the noise, but bandwidth requirement is high. Means it will give the two times of bandwidth. Bandwidth requirement, or you can told it as a bandwidth savings. Bandwidth saving means if you have to use the half of the bandwidth as we have to require in our previous type of modulation. So if you are talking about the ASK, so bandwidth requirement of PSK is half that of the ASK. So this is the reason how much bandwidth efficient technique is QAM. And in QAM, the largest distance between the points. So if you are working on the 4 QAM, so you have to opt on the 4. And if you are working on the 16, so this is a path you can represent your 16 bits. This is also the way, this is also the way. So basically m is equal to 4. So 16 QAM has the largest distance between the points. So that will be the, you can see here in this diagram what about the 16 PSK and APSK. And that is the QAM. So that is the 16 amplitude phase shift key, and this is the QAM, quadrature amplitude multiplexing. So this is a basic pattern of our 16 QAM and 16 APSK levels. So this is a basic pattern. So you can also opt at 0001 1011. So you can also say 2 pi FCT, 2 pi FCT plus 90 degree plus 180 degree and plus 270 degree. So this is the basic classification of phase shifting and more efficient use of bandwidth quadrature. Here phase shift occurs in the multiple of 90 degrees. So that is the 0001 10 and 11. So that is the phase shift. Now we have to work out on the 8 PSK, means number of symbols will be 8. Means you have a basically 8 symbols. So 000001 010. So there is a things, there is a phase differences, and you have to implement these phase change and number of symbols into the 8 PSK system. So you can see here in this particular constellation diagram of 8 PSK. Now again we have to little bit revise the QM. So in QM we are talking about there is two changes, amplitude change and angle change. According to that we will cover it. How our amplitude and how our phase will be changed, and combination of both will make as the QAM signal with two amplitude levels and four phases. So this is the basic conditions of our QM. So we have to also in see reference. So what about the basic equations and how you can write the basic equation of quadrature amplitude modulation? So basically QM is the combination of ASK and PSK. So there is both D1T cos 2 pi FCT D2. So there is a phase change. So that is a sin 2 pi FCT. So that is the two amplitudes. And you can see here the equations D1 cos 2 pi FCT plus D2 sin. That is again the 8 point of QM. So we have to again describe it. 4 hither and 4 hither. So there is the 8 QM pattern. This is a QM modulator. You have to also know how you can modulate. So there is binary data and 2 bit serial to parallel encoder, and we will give parallel bit from this to the product modulator, oscillators and carrier signals. And according to that, after processing on these two product modulators, we will receive our outputs and it will be proceeded. And we have to work out on the QA signals. So that is the basic difference between these two. So that's the modulator part. We will again switch to the 16 array QM. You can see here there is also a different combinations. So if we are working on the 16 QM, that is the basically M array communications. Okay. So if we are talking about the quadrature, there is only 4 symbols. If we are working on the 8, there is 8 symbols. And if we are working on the 16 QM, so there are 16 symbols, and you have to properly give the particular notation of that particular code. So that is the basically combination of phase and amplitude modulation as we have to already discuss. Now we will see the general terms of our M array. So binary word represents two bits. M represents a digit that corresponds to the number of conditions. So that is a basically how what is the value of m. So m is equal to 2 to the power n. So what about the n? N is the number of bits. So that is if you have to decide that if you have a three number of bits or you want to take the combinations or symbols of three bits. So that is equal to number. So that is the equal to 2 raised to power. What type of number of bits you are working, then you can finally get the exact value of number of symbols. So this is a type of digital modulation technique used for generally used for data transmission. And one bit, two bit, or more bits are transmitted at a time. So as a single signal is used in multiple bit transmission, channel bit bandwidth is reduced. That is IMRA equations. And capital N, that is equal to log 2 m, and m is equal to 4. So that is a capital N is a number of bits necessary, and capital M is a number of conditions levels, and m that is equal to 2 raised to power n. That is a relation between these two symbols. So now we will again see the different M array techniques, the final expressions of M array. So in our previous slides, we have seen the general ASK system, amplitude shift keying, and now we will see the M array modulation. So just you can see the change in amplitude. L is equal to 4 multi-levels. So that is a basically combination of 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, and you can also say here 1.5 volt, 0.5 volt, 1.5 volt, and minus 0.5 volt. So that is the basically four levels which we have to represent. So now here we can again see in amplitude modulation 4 array. So there is a representation of what type of symbols we have to do. By using the different combinations of these four symbols, we can represent our large amount of data by this pattern 4 array. So that is basically four symbols. So instead of using 0 and 1, 0 and 1, we can use here the different combinations, and we can represent these combinations with a different amplitude levels. So these are the finalized for representing the M array ASK signals. Type of prominent features of M array ASK. This method is used in per PAM. Its implementation is simple. M array ASK is susceptible to noise and distortion. So the same thing is happen. What type of facing change in amplitude is facing? So that is reflected also in M array ASK. Now we will little bit focus on the M array FSK system. So this is called as a M array frequencies. So number of frequencies are also f minus 1, and we can represent it as a cos. That is a omega c plus it. So that is a I is equal to integer values. If you want to change any type of frequency, so that is based on the m number of m values. These are also the silent features of M array FSK, not susceptible to noise. This is very good feature of our FSK. The transmitted m number of symbols are equal in energy and duration. So that is a equal distributions. These signals are separated by 1 by 2 hertz, so making the signals orthogonal to each other. M signals are orthogonal, so there is no crowding in the signals. So that is basically if we are talking about the frequency signals, and these types of F signals are orthogonal to each other. Bandwidth efficiency of M array FSK decreases as we increase our number of symbols. Our bandwidth requirement will also be increases. So that is not good for where we have to require the bandwidth saving. Now we will move to the M array FSK waveforms. So that is basically M array FSK. So you can see here there are so many frequencies, and you can also switch to the, so that is the different symbols in which it is working and different frequencies we can opt. You can see is a 0 to 5, 0 to 3, 0 to 7. So according to that, we have a 0 to m minus 1 frequencies for representing this type of M array FSC system. And these are the different frequencies which are used for transmission. So again, we will see the M array PSK. So same thing is here, and there is m minus one phases, and by using the m minus one symbols, we can represent our m array PSC system. So you can just see that is a basic general equation: root two e by t and cos omega ct plus phi I t, and I is the 1, 2, 3, 4 different names. That is the some prominent features of MRA PSK. So envelope is constant with more phase possibility. There is no changes in envelope. This method was used during the early days of space communication. So basically, it was used in space communication. Better performance है ASK and FSK के respect में, and minimum phase estimation error at the receiver. And bandwidth efficiency of MRA PSK decreases and power efficiency increases with increase in M, because as the M is increases, amount of power also increases by allotting to these systems. So I think again we will revise here. Again we will little bit focus to the M array. So at initially I think you have to comfortable ASK, FSK, and PSK, three types of digital modulation techniques. And apart from that, if you want to increase our information rate, okay. So same thing here. If you want to increase the information rate, you have to reduce the transmitting time of one symbols. So apart from reducing the transmitting time of one symbol, there is not possibility to reduce a transmission duration of one symbols at a time. So for enhancing your signals, what we have to done, we have to increasing the number of bits, and we are also increasing the representation of this symbol. So after searching this thing, we have to switch to the M array ASK, M array FSK, and M array PSK. So whatever the talking about the M array ASK, FSK, PS. So instead of using the single frequency, we are working with the multiple frequencies on multiple phase, and at that particular things, what will you have to increase if you are opting the M is equal to 4. So instead of 2, you are working on the 4 frequencies. If you are increasing 4 to 8, so you are working on the 8 frequencies, and according to that, your data signals will be transmitted. So this is the main things. Ki what is the role of M? So basically, role of M array PSK or FSK is that for better performance, for enhancing there is a minimum estimation error. So this type of features, if you want to study, so that will be you have to move to the M array PSK, and there is a so many possibilities in M array PSK signals. And presently we are working on the basically PSK signals, because if you are opting the FSK signals, there is a bandwidth requirement increases, and if we are opting the ASK system, so interference of noise will also be increases in the PSK system. So basically, if you are talking best method for transmission of digital signal is PSK system, and we are also working on the M array PSK. So we have to classified our M array PSK system according to that. So now we will little bit switch to the objective question. So for generation of FSK data pattern, what type of data pattern you have to require? So that is a general introductory part. Whose bandwidth is maximum, so you have to see what type of working processes we have to follow. We can easily decide if ASK, PSK, and FSK. So in these three types of digital modulation techniques, since we are working on the FSK on two frequencies, so spectrum of both the frequencies are concluded, and due to this bandwidth is maximum in FSK. Bandwidth of MSK, that of the QPSK. So if you are working on the quadrature phase shift keying or MSK minimum shift key, so that is a what about the bandwidth requirement? So no doubt FSK is the related to the MSK is related to the FSK, so bandwidth requirement will be higher than with respect to QPSK. So there is a little bit concept behind these objective questions. What about the FSK? So FSK is the minimum shift key. So what type of signals we are knowing as a on-off signaling? So this is also a question you have to know. That is FSK reception. So there is again a thing. There is change in frequency. So what type of coherent, non-coherent demodulation techniques you are working? So generally in FSK we are working to the non-coherent type of demodulation techniques. Non-coherent receptions. So if you are working on the non-coherent reception, so what about the? So you have to measure the phase energy and power. So you can opt for the energy. QAM uses as the dimensions. What about the QM? So it will work out in phase and quadrature, both the phase. So that is called as a QM. Every frequency has a orthogonal frequency, so there is also a reason how many frequencies are working here. FSK reception uses. So what about the uses of FSK? What type of work you can perform by using the FSK? So there is a certain conditions. Correlation receiver, PLL, correlation receiver and PLL. So both the singer or you can see that what type of working procedure we have to seen in this here. So I think whose bandwidth is maximum. So I can also told you is frequency spectrum. So if you are studying about the frequency spectrum of ASK, FSK, PSK, we can see we are working on the two frequencies of FSK system. So the bandwidth requirement of FSK system will be high with respect to the other system. So in this way, we can see here that all these are the digital modulation techniques. So in these digital modulation techniques, our modulating signal is digital, and we have to work out on the ASK, FSK, and PSK. And apart from ASK, FSK, and PSK, if we want to increase our information rate, so there is a conditions if you want to increase the information rate. So what will happens here? The duration of one symbol should be low, but instead of reducing the duration symbols, we have to use the combination. So in that particular time duration, we are using the combination of our bits. So we are working on the different symbols. So this is the basic theme of our transmitting the digital signals, and why we are opting the M array communication system. So without disturbing the bandwidth requirement, we can increase the information rate by opting the M array communication system. So that's all from my side. So this is the digital modulation techniques. Okay, thank you.